Hello there, welcome to my ICT Hub. This is John, your ICT tutor, where we make ICT concepts easier. Today we'll be focusing on the website authoring, and our reference is going to be the IGCSE ICT paper May June 2024, paper 3-1. Alright, so if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's dive in. Alright, this paper is a combination of the spreadsheet and the website authoring. In a previous video, I have made a video on the spreadsheet, so you might want to catch up on that video and see how I solved this. But let's start out on task 3, where we are working on the website authoring. The first thing the file management says, create a new folder called J2. Right, let's copy that, J2431. Locate only the following files and store them in your folder. So we want to go to where our source files are. Let's create a new folder. You just want to right click it, or you could use new and pick a folder. Alright, and use that folder name. Alright, now I want to pick those files. Let's take a look at the files. We have the contact, location, logo, Splendid JPG, then style, CSS, and text. So we have like 3 pictures, 4 pictures, CSS, and a text. So we have one, this, CSS, and the text. Okay, let's copy that. Let's place that in our folder. Alright, that's 6 items. Good. Now display the contents of your folder. That's your J2431 folder, showing the folder name 1, all the file names 2, file extension 3, file sizes 4, and the image dimensions. 5 things needed to be shown in that screenshot, in that display, because we're going to take a screenshot. It's going to show the folder name, which is the first thing, then it has to show the file names, then it should show the file extension, show the file extension, then it should show the file sizes, and lastly it should show the image dimension. Now I always advise you use the content view. It will take care of all of that. Let's change to the content view. Alright, take a look at this. We have the file name and the file extension. We have the folder name, which should be displayed up here. Then we have the dimension of the images. We have the file sizes. Remember those 5 things. We have the folder name, file extension, file size, and image dimension. So we have folder name, file extension, image dimensions, and we have the file size. So let's take a screenshot of this. I use the shortcut Windows Shift and S to call up my sniping tool quickly. And you want to take a screenshot showing all of this. Yes. Then let's go to our evidence documents. That should be step, let's see, what question is this? That's step 10. Alright, let's drop that. Sorry. Okay. I have step 10. Okay. Yes, now that is showing the folder name, the file names, and the file extension, dimensions of the images, and also the file size. Alright, take a screenshot of this folder, making sure that the required information is clearly visible. Place the screenshot in your evidence document, which we have done that. So let's move on to task 4. Now this is the interesting part where we have the web page. Now let's start out. Open a web page called splendid.htm. Save this in your J21 folder. Alright, so I'll be using the web expression to solve this. So let me open my web expression. Quite easy. It avoids you using too much, knowing too much codes, or rather using too much code. It generates a lot of codes for you. So let's open a new HTML document. Alright, I want to save it. Go to the file, save as. I want to go to where I have my folder. Yes, that's my folder. And I'm going to be saving it as splendid.html. Alright, that is done. Now you can see the file name there. Good. So if you have your web expression, you might have this fully displayed. You can change to the split, and you can change to the code view. But I like to go with the split so I can see the code and I can also see what is going on here in the preview. I want to make this a bit bigger. All right. Good. Now that is done. The web page must be created using a single table and work in all browsers. The table must fit 85% of the browser window and have a structure as shown in this diagram. Okay, we're coming back to that. Let's quickly read through. Each table cell is identified with a letter. The cell contents shown in the diagram must not appear on the final web page. Okay, each of those alphabets must not appear. Table borders must not appear. Very important. I like to read about this so that we know how to fix this before we go far. Table borders must not appear on the final web page. Okay, before we hit on the table, what we always do is to make sure you draw out a full table. Everywhere you see the lines, just complete the lines. Oh, sorry, I'm using the highlighter instead. Okay, let me just draw this line. I was picking highlighter. Okay, yes, so if you take a look at this table now, it's a 1, 2, let me reduce this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, and we have 2 columns. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows and 2 columns. So we have a 5 rows by 2 column table. Let's take away all those lines. Okay. All right, let's go to expression. You want to go to table. Sorry, that's the table. Insert table. How many rows? We said 5 rows and 2 columns. Okay, remember to say the table should fit 85% of the window. Right, so I want to click on that. After inserting your table, it says the table border must not appear. So here the attributes, before we come to take care of that, let me zoom in so you can see me doing this, because there's no way I could increase the font size. So just within the table tag, use your space bar, your border, double click, and let's turn it off to 0. All right, then before we move on, there are some other contents that web expression always adds into our codes, which is not necessary. Nevertheless, IGCSE will not penalize you because you will be asked about what app you are using in your center, like I do with my students who write the application, and they know you are not expected to be an expert. They know some of these applications you use. Basic thing is you should understand how to use these applications properly. All right, so we take away these 2 parts of the head, and in the HTML, I want to take away the meta tag also if the question does not say anything about the meta tag, but let me take it away. You could also leave it if you want to. All right, now that is taken away and taken care of. All right, we have our tables. Can we turn off the zoom? I'll be turning that on anytime I want to work on the code so you can see clearly what I have done. All right, let's go back. So we have the first row is merged with a height of 20%. So I want to click on this first 2 cells in the first row. Right click on it and let's go to modify. Then you want to merge it. After merging it, you still want to right click and you want to call up the cell properties. It says it should be a height, the height or width, height of 20%. So you want to turn on the height, specify it to be 20 in percentage. You apply that and click on OK. All right. Then we go to the next one. We have a B here, which should be a width of 60%. And not only that, it's merged across these 2 rows. So I highlight these 2. Right click, go to your modify, merge the cells. Then right click again, come to the cell properties, and this time it's the width of 60%. 60%. Okay, apply that and I click on OK. And lastly, we have these 2 rows again merged. Right click and then you merge the cells. I think that's about it. All right, we've done the structure. Perfect. Now let's move on to the next thing. And we've ensured that the border is turned off with that particular table tag border equals to 0. So And the next thing says set the title of the web page to Splendid Toadfish. Right, we are still working on Splendid Toadfish like we did for the spreadsheet. So here we have the title. Let me zoom in again for those of you using mobile devices. Then I want to highlight where you have untitled and paste that there. You want to save this. Okay, yes. All right, let's turn off the zoom. Okay, let's go back to the question. It says enter in cell A the text. This text, conserve our endangered species in cell A. From our structure, you can see this is cell A, the merged column. Oh, sorry, the merged row. Paste it there. Okay, we go back. Question then says enter in cell C, Splendid Toadfish. We have this is C. Okay, so here we have C, Splendid Toadfish. All right, and that is done. Let's save this. Let's continue. The next thing says set the text in cells A and C as style H1. So I want to highlight this text. Okay, go to where you have your styles. Then we have H1. Highlight this text also. Go to my styles and I set it to H1. All right, and that's done. Next question says enter in cell G the text created by, followed by your name, center number and candidate number, and sets this text as style H2. All right, so where we have G, just to be sure, okay, G is the last cell. So we come here, let's paste it, followed by my name, center number, and candidate number. Then we highlight everything there, and you want to set it to style H2. All right. Easily, you can see the codes are being generated. The next now says place in cell B the image splendid.jpg, D the image contact, and F this image location. And before I leave, it says add an appropriate alternative text to all these images. Okay, so before I place them, let's even check what these images look like. All right, this obviously looks like a button. This is a full image. I think this should be, let's take a look at it. The toadfish itself. Okay, yes, so this is a splendid toadfish. These are buttons, location, and contacts. All right, so let's see how we place them. And the question says in cell B, let's put the splendid.jpg. This is B. So when we insert the image, go to, format, no, on the right place, insert a picture. Okay, then we go to where file is. All right, it's the toadfish, and you want to insert that. Now the alternative text, I'm just going to write the name back there, Splendid Toadfish, and click OK. Yes, that's image is dropped in there. Let's go back to the question. The next question is in D. We have contacts. Okay, so let's try and locate where the D is. Okay, D is just below. So I want to scroll there, just below this. Okay, D should be here. Right, yes, let's go to insert picture from this file. I want to insert contacts. This is location, this is contacts. Yes, click on that, and it should be a button. If we just go with contact or contact button, any of the two should fit. Okay, yes, that is looking like what we want. All right, the next part is F. We have location for F is we are inserting location.jpg. So F is just gonna be above. Okay, let's take a look at this. Just be yes above that. So we go to insert and we come to picture from file. We're picking location, we can insert. You just call it location or just add the word button, location button. All right, inserted. That's good. I think that should be all. Yes, we are not told to make it fit the width, so we're going to leave that way. Now, add appropriate alternate text to all images. We've done that. Now, place in cell E the text from the file J2 text. Okay, and what are we to do? We have to set each of the 3 paragraphs into paragraph style. So let's go and open that file. Here we have it here. We open it up, select all, then we copy, and let's go back. We want to place it in E, and E is here. I paste that in. All right, so let's start the highlighting. Highlight the first paragraph, set it as a paragraph style. Okay, let's just be sure that's what the question says. Set all paragraph styles, exactly. So we go back, the second paragraph, let's highlight the second paragraph, set it to a paragraph style. Good. And the third paragraph, also set it to a paragraph style. All right, so all 3 have been set to paragraph style. I'm going to save that. Let's go back to the question. Question 18 now says, attach the style sheet, the styles.css to your web page. Do not edit this style sheet. So we're going to be attaching this style sheet to the web page. We are told not to edit this style sheet. So let's go in there, and we want to attach a style sheet. So you go to Formats, CSS Styles, and let's attach a style sheet. Now it's going to ask you, let's browse to where the style sheet is located. Locate to where my source file is. Okay, we have the style sheet. Take note, it has to be the one within the folder you created, not any other one, so that you would have a relative referencing and not an absolute referencing that is going to be giving the long part of the file. Rather, if it's in the same location where your web page is, it's just going to use a relative referencing directly to that style sheet. Okay, and we have that. You click on OK, and that has been attached. Okay, you can see there are changes. Let's take a look at this. If we want to take a look at this, let's preview it in our internet browser. Okay, this is what it looks like. Yes, to zoom down, let's use our control and the minus button. Okay, I think we are coming up. Yes, so let's move on. The next question then says, here's the question. It says, create a new style sheet. Okay, so we are creating a new style sheet, so that just before we pick the content, let's take a look at what the name of the style sheet we are creating. We have information, make sure that the style created no HTML. Okay, yes, save the style sheet in your folder. That's in cascading style sheet formats with this. Okay, followed by your center number, candidate number, for example. Okay, so let's now go back to let's create a CSS file. Okay, and I'm gonna save it. Save as. No, I'm not in my web page. Okay, so my folder, here we have the folder. I want to save it with the name of my ng123. Then we have 0001.css, very important. Okay, save it. All right, and that file has been saved. All right, so now what are the contents of this style sheet? First one says the file, so that the file J2431 logo.png is placed as a single background image in the top left corner of the window. Now, for those of us who might not be very familiar with writing CSS, so I believe you should have learned it. Take note of every word in IGCSE. They are very good at prompting, in a way, prompting what you should use in the CSS. Now we are inserting an image in the background. It's a background image, and for a background, we're going to be using the body tag. I also tell my let's go there. It says it's going to be placed as a single background image. Now, for it being single, there's possibility it could be multiple. So what is the tool that we're going to use to ensure that we have a single, and we have to insert a background image, and it should be somewhere at the top left, which should be the location. So let's take a look at how to do that. Now we are placing in the body tag. So let's click the body tag. All right, open up my curly bracket. The first thing we want to do is background. So I type background image. Here I have my image. Now where am I going to be? I'm picking the picture from. Let's go to my desktop. All right, let's pick the picture. Okay, that's it. Logo. I'm going to click on open. Yes, so that's a picture followed by a semicolon. The next thing says a single image. So I'm going to be looking at what is about background. We have background image, background color, background position, background repeat. Okay, so that means this should tell me something about I don't want it to be repeated. Now the last thing is about the background position, background location. Yes, so we'll be going with background position here. It should be, it says top left, so I'm going to go with left, space, and top. All right, then I might want to move this. Let me close with this, semicolon, just to follow the way. If you leave it this way, it's not really wrong, but let me follow the way it is stated in the question, the top left. All right, so we have that, and I want to bring my curly brackets there. Pick everything up. Let's use a delete. Sorry. Okay. Excuse me. Yes, I use my delete. Now let me pick this down. I kind of like it. It's easy to read when you bring them in separate lines. Okay. Yeah, put that there. Come behind the next one. Hit my enter key. Yes, I think it looks better that way. Now we are done with the background, the body tag. Let's go to the next question. Next question says the table is right aligned within the browser window. Now we are going to the next tag, is the table tag, which we are creating a cascading style sheet for. So we're going to be working with the table tag, and since we are moving the table to be right aligned, that means within the browser the margin of the right should be 0, so that it's going to be placed at the extreme right of the window, while the margin to the left was not stated. But because the table, remember from the question, says you fill 85% of the window, we could set that to auto. So whatever the percentage of this is, it's going to just use the percentage left while it pushes the table to the extreme right. So we are dealing with two margins, the margin right and the margin left. The question didn't say anything about the margin top or the margin below. So let's go back there. Let's have a table tag. Then you want to open your curly brackets, and the first thing is the margin. Let's see, the margin left, set to auto, my semicolon, hit my enter key, and the margin right, remember we said it should be at the extreme right, so that will be set to 0, the semicolon. Now let me bring this up, let me bring this up also. Okay, that's about it for the table tag. I like my codes to be readable. Okay, let's see. Is that all? Yeah, that's all. Now the next thing says the H1, H2, and the paragraph styles. That's the H1, H2, and the P tags. Use one, the font times. Font times New Roman if times is not available, and the browser's default serif font if neither of these fonts is available. So we are having fonts, and what we the property declaration we are using here is called the font family. Okay, so now this is going to be affecting 3 tags. So we have tag, sorry, why are you going back? Come on, stop that. All right, we have tag H1, H2, and the paragraph tag. Open my curly brackets. Then I want to insert first the font, what? Font family. Maybe type font, you see. The first thing is the Times. Second is Times New Roman. But I'll be using a quotation mark here because there is space between the names. When you are using a font name that has spaces in between them, you use the quotation mark. If it's a font name without a space, just one word, you don't need the quotation mark. Okay, then lastly, we'll be using the serif, the default serif fonts. Okay, all right, yes, the default serif fonts, and at the end of that, we can close it with a semicolon. Okay. All right, just had this ring that possibly someone isn't seeing what I'm typing. Let me go a bit closer for you to see what I just typed. All right, we've had the body tag for the background image. Set the image, the body background repeat, no repeat, background position top left. Then here we have the margin left set to auto, margin right for the table tag set to 0 so that the table aligns to the right. Then for the H1, H2, and the P tag, we have the font family set to times. Okay, that's not time, that should be times. Times. Okay. Then we have the Times New Roman in quotation marks because there's a space in between that name. And lastly, we have the serif font. Okay, now this is not properly spelled. Very important that your spelling should be right. Okay, now we have the serif font. Let me take off the zoom and let's go back to the question. Still, now the next thing says H1, H2, and the paragraph style are bold. Now it's still within this property, so we want to go back to that tag. Now to effect the bold, we are going to be using the font weight. That's font style, font size, no font weight. Okay, so we have font weight there, and we want to make it bold. All right. Like you know, I like my to readable. Okay, so we have the font width there. Save that. Let's go back. Now let's say the paragraph style is fully justified. Now this is just only the paragraph styles, not in group with the other heading H1 and H2 tags. So we want the paragraph style fully justified. So we are going to have that separately for the paragraph tag. That's the P tag. Open your curly brackets, and to justify is going to be the text align. It's a paragraph, so we have the text align, and we want it justify. And I end with my semicolon. Let's take this up, and let's also bring the curly brackets up. I want to space it a little bit. Yes, so that looks neat. Sorry, let me zoom in again. Sorry. So we have the text align for the paragraph tag. Justify, we have the font weight bold. So I believe everyone can see this clearly now. So now once we are done with that, let's check, take away this, and let's check what is left, the CSS. All right, that's all. Now it says your name, center number, and candidate number are set as a comment at the top of the style sheet. Okay, to insert a comment, you use the slash and the star. So to insert a comment, you want to go, because it says at the top, so we're going to push this down. I'm going to be using, the slash, the star, and the slash. So my name is going to go in between this. I have John and G. Type that in uppercase letter. And we have, all right, so that's a comment inserted in between the comment tag. Is that all? Yes. Make sure that your style sheet contains no HTML, which we did not, or scripting language, and it's and it's as efficient as possible. Okay, it should contain no scripting language, and it should be as efficient as possible. Now the efficiency has to do with, here we can see we are combining H1, H2 instead of repeating separate CSS for styles for each of them. This is where the efficiency comes in. When you have a style or a property that is used for different tags, so you can combine them together and write it as one. That makes it efficient. But you see, P is different here. It has a different property here, so that's why we bring it out to write this separately. Okay, so let's move on. Now we've done this, we've saved this. Now attach the style sheet to your web page so that it has a higher priority than the one attached in step 18. So how do we do that? I haven't saved this. Let's ensure you save it. And let's go back to our style sheet, web page. We want to insert style sheets. You want to attach a style sheet. You browse to where it should be. It should be where we have our source files. Okay, this is the style sheet we created, and you attach that. Now let's take a look at the priority. For the one, remember, a style sheet is a cascading style sheet, meaning it just places it on top of each other. It keeps applying it as it meets with the instruction. So looking at this, let me zoom in. The first style sheet is the initial one which we inserted. So while applying this, it picks the first style sheet, applies the style with this style sheet. Then later on, when it meets with this, after this, it now applies this also. So for the one with a higher priority, is usually the style sheet which is below in order of preference. So the one below, we have the higher priority because it's going to be applied last. Like remember we said cascading. It's going to be applying them, cascading it upon each other. So this style sheet is going to be applied last, and that's why it should be of higher priority. If it was to be the lower priority, we would have taken it above this style sheet. But since it has a higher priority, its location is correct and is in order. Okay. So let's continue. It says take a screenshot of your style sheet and place this in your evidence document. Make sure the file name and all contents are fully visible. Okay, so let's go back. Here we have my style sheet. I want to take a screenshot of that. I'll screenshot in this. Okay, you can see the file name up there and all the contents are fully visible. Let's go to the evidence documents. That is step what? That is step 19. Okay. So we have step 19. And alright, so style sheet name is fully visible. All the contents are fully visible. Okay, so let's go back to the question. It says save your web page, take a copy of your HTML source and place this in your evidence document. Now, a number of my students also make this mistake that when it says take a copy of your HTML source, take note, the word didn't say take a screenshot. Students sometimes take screenshots in the error thinking that's what this statement means. It means take a copy, meaning you should go to your web page. It says they want to see the code. Click on the code section, or you could just change to where you have, the code. Select all, that's Ctrl A, copy it completely, and then go to your evidence document. And that will be step 20. Okay, step 20, and then paste it all. Yes, this is what is expected of you to do. So let me turn off the bold. All right, paste the code just the way it is, that way. So that is what you're expected to do when you're taking a copy of your HTML source and place it in your evidence document. Now display your web page in the browser. If necessary, resize it so that 1. all the page can be seen, 2. all text can be easily read, and 3. the address bar is fully visible. So we have that here. We want to refresh this. Okay, now we need to resize. Use your control key and your minus button to resize that. Okay, I think something is missing. I'm not seeing this at the top, so we need to go and save this again. Let's go back. Let's save this. Save it. Let me reopen. Yes, now I was expecting to see this. Good, because I know we gave a background image. Yeah, so we have that. But if we still zoom down using the control and the minus button, this will be very tiny to see, but better still, you could just take a screenshot of this. Let me close this. Right, so if I'm going to take a screenshot, let's take a screenshot. This is cut a little bit. Okay, so I want everything to be fully visible. Alright, so let's do that again. Take a screenshot showing your address bar and every content of the web page. Okay, Then let's go to our evidence documents. They're still in the same step. 19. Okay, I dropped that. Yes. So fully visible. You might want to make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Alright. So that's me. I don't want to. Okay, so I can make it fully visible and every content should be easily read. Alright, you can see your name, you can see every detail. That way, if you want to still screenshot, making it smaller, you can zoom down if you want to, but this is really too small. So you don't want to, you can stay with this and do a screenshot of this, or better still, if you make this bigger, you can do a double screenshot. Screenshot this for the first time, then the second time you add the lower part to it, and both of it, so long as it can be read, you will be given your full grading as it's expected. Sorry, so let's go back. Here I have my splits. Let's see what the question says afterwards. Okay, take a screenshot, evidence showing your web page in the browser. Place this in your evidence document. Alright, and I think that's where this question comes to an end. The next thing is to print your evidence document. When you are done, save it and print it. Let's print the evidence documents. Let's go to evidence documents. I like to always print it first in PDF. So I want to print it. Let's print in PDF so you can see what it's going to look like before you print out finally. So let's call that printout 3. Printout 3. Okay. So let's take a look at what printout 3 will look like. So make me to. Okay, so this is the evidence document. We have this from the spreadsheets. Now this is the file management. Then we have a CSS. Then we have the source codes which was pasted, and finally you have your web page. Okay, so that's complete, and then you can print out on your printer attached to your system, or if you have to move to where the printer is, you have all your files intact and you're sure nothing would go wrong. So at this point we come to the end of this. Sorry, let's go back to question. Come to the end of the question. So if you enjoyed what you have watched, please feel free to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and also hit the notification button bell so that when I drop another video, you will be notified. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop a message in the descriptions below, or you could send me a direct email message, and I promise I would respond to your questions when I'm able to do that. Also, the question has been dropped. The link to the question and the source files will be dropped in the description below, so you can pick that and you can practice. Remember, practice, the more you practice, the better you get at doing it. And when you get to your exams, you are more comfortable and more composed to ensure that you do your best and you finish with your A star. So till I see you on my next video, do have a nice time. Goodbye for now.